her get back together. And if that's true, he'll miss how to taste me when he's kissing you. You forever.
I bet you do know you'll taste me too.
Taste me too. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Welcome to Goody Graps, and this is our recap of tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. Things kicked off with Paul Heyman cutting a promo, and he's announced that the 2025 Royal Rumble will feature Roman Reigns. It will be his first Rumble appearance in years, first Rumble that he's not been the champion in ages. So that should be exciting. A lot of exciting names have been announced. We've seen John Cena, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and then we have the Cody versus Kevin match to be excited about.
Yeah. We saw Kevin Owens tonight. He made an appearance, several appearances actually. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is leading us towards a Cody heel turn, but that's just me. It's up for debate, but I feel like every time we see Cody run into the crowd chasing after Kevin Owens, it just like pushes him a little bit closer to snapping and turning heel. So,
interesting observation. I personally think that Cody will remain the babyface in his eventual upcoming programs. I don't really see him. That's most
likely.
I feel like if he makes a heel turn, it's something that wouldn't happen until like maybe next year at the earliest.
That's why I want to be the one that predicted it. So you heard it here first. Cody will turn heel eventually, and it's going to be all because of Kevin Owens.
Speaking of Cody, he comes out, talks with Paul Heyman, shakes his hand. Kevin Owens comes out. He's a little bit mad that Cody's, shaking hands, meandering around with the bloodline yet again, sticking his nose in bloodline business. And they start fighting. They go into the crowd, beat each other up a little bit. All of a sudden, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga show up. Solo hasn't been seen since Tribal Combat. Nobody knows where he is, if he's going to acknowledge Roman or not. They hyped him up for a big return next week, so maybe we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But we got to see Big Jim come out and make the save. It sounded like he got a new theme. I don't know, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But yeah, Big Jim coming out and looking like main event Jim. They let him use a spear tonight, so
he's even potentially getting maybe a feud with Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, that's something to be super excited about. I feel like that is like the kind of mid-card feuds that I would build SmackDown around.
I would love to see a match between the two of them.
Not even just a match. I want to see a promo battle, them in backstage segment week after week, and let it build. And even like, I don't want to see everyone that Carmelo fights turn to like a best of 5 or best of 7, but a few matches with Jimmy, trade a couple of wins. I think that'll be a nice little, a nice little feud to like get through this early season before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
After this, we see LA Knight backstage throws out Jacob Fatu, which set up the most obvious interference. At that point in time, we knew that there was going to be an interference in the U.S. title match, and that LA Knight was not going to be walking out successful tonight. And, I mean, as a babyface, I don't understand why we refuse to book smart babyfaces. You know that doing that is going to have consequences. You know that they're not going to stay gone. They never stay gone. So, like, why do you think you're special? Why do you think that's going to work tonight? Like, LA Knight, you lose. Like, that's 5 dummy points because you decided to do something stupid tonight. If I had your little dummy button, I would be smashing the fuck out of it.
Dummy! Yeah!
That's just me. From there, we see all the tag teams want a title shot. And, like, when we got to this part, like, I understand SmackDown's 3 hours now, and there's going to be a lot more opportunities for all the different underutilized talent to, get a little bit more runtime. We've seen a lot of Pretty Deadly lately.
Yeah.
Pretty Deadly lately. We've seen a lot of Los Garza, Apollo Crews backstage, and like shout out to them, but all of them were so boring. Tonight was such a boring episode of SmackDown. I'm not trying to like, it was still fun. There were moments, but like I was just not that. And I mean, there was so much that happened on Raw this week. There was so much that happened on NXT this week. This felt like they were limping across the finish line, like an exhausted week, and just kind of like getting through it. you know?
Yeah, I mean, SmackDown definitely just kind of moved storylines along. It wasn't a huge night, and like you said, it's coming right off the heels of the Netflix premiere, so I'm sure everybody is exhausted by now. But we still got to see, storylines progress and maybe some Easter eggs.
Yeah, definitely. So next we see Chelsea Green versus Michin, a women's U.S. title defense. Chelsea Green was able to sneak out another victory. I thought it was super dope how Piper came out dressed as a Secret Service agent.
Sparkly Secret Service agent.
they're really playing into this whole like U.S. thing and just like the red, white, and green. Someone had like a sign that was like Chelsea Green is my president. Love everything that they're doing, and another victory over Michin makes me think that they're about to move to like a new feud for her. So I'm interested to see where they go with that. But yeah, I think Chelsea's doing a great job so far, and it seems like it's been around like a month of the first titles, or the first, God, we're tired. The thing about 3 Hour Smackdown, it's like at the very end of a Friday, and we got like the rest of our weekend to get to, so I'll try to, get my head back in the game. But it makes me feel like there's some more on the horizon for her and her title, and some new fresh feuds to get into. So yeah. I'm excited for what's on the horizon for them. After that, I believe LA Knight fought Shinsuke Nakamura. Bloodline attacked. Cody and Jimmy come out to make the save. Yeah. And again, Cody Rhodes, why are you sticking your nose where it doesn't belong? You're losing some points. Dummy. Yeah. You spent all of 2023 fighting the Bloodline. You spent all of 2024 fighting the new Bloodline. And here we are. This is the second SmackDown of 2025. And look who's sticking his nose in Bloodline business. I get it. Dwayne, Big Rome, they do what they got to do to get their cousins in those main events. I understand. But I would love to see Cody Rhodes just focus on a feud that does not involve him trying to be Captain Save-A-Ho to some Bloodline member. It's just been a lot lately,
Yeah, and that's exactly why he's going to turn heel very soon.
It plays into what Kevin Owens is saying. He's like, yeah, why would you shake hands with Roman and shake hands with The Rock, shake hands with Heyman? Maybe you've got a point. Maybe Cody has turned a new leaf. Maybe Kevin Owens and all that he's done has changed who Cody is. Maybe another Easter egg. I don't even know. Easter bunnies and chickens.
I don't know what sound.
They don't make those noises. Anyway, what if when Randy comes back, he doesn't recognize the person Cody's become because of the way Kevin Owens has been changing him?
People had suspected that Randy was going to turn on Cody for the title before all of this happened with Kevin Owens. So, it's very possible.
But, this would be Cody. Cody being the bad guy, Cody changing, and Randy trying to be virtuous. Randy being the old, wise, master who's saying, hey, man, I see the path you're going down. I'm one of the most evil motherfuckers of all time. I know what it's like. And is it really worth it? Is that what you want to do to your family? Is that what you want to do to your friends? But not to fantasy book. Let's get to the next segment. Another boring tag team match. Shout out to the Machine Guns. They always look so cool.
Yeah.
They come out, they have dope gear, and Pretty Deadly. You were saying how much you like their gear tonight as well.
I love their gear. They look super cunty, super cool. I love Pretty Deadly. They always entertain me.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
They're gonna turn on DIY. DIY is plotting, maneuvering backstage. They got their belts back. I still think Johnny Gargano is so just miscast in his current role, and he just doesn't give off the sinister vibe that Ciampa gives. He just gives off annoying twerp brat little brother vibes. And Pretty Deadly, they're trying to, they wheeled and dealed a little bit, but they thought that it would lead to them getting a title match, and they're seeing that you can't trust anybody. So I see them turning on DIY pretty soon, and I think a face Pretty Deadly could be pretty fun. I think we need a few more face tag teams in that division.
Yeah,
everyone in that division's so pissed off.
Yeah.
Everyone's so fucking mad in the tag team division. Do any of y'all just chill the fuck out ever? That's when moments like this is when I miss RK Bro, because every week, like they were just vibing. The Usos, the New Day, like they were so like bring back fun tag teams. And when I say fun tag teams, I don't mean like bullshit joke tag teams. Like love Alpha Academy, but do you ever really see them winning a title from like the War Raiders or something? Like bring back tag teams that are just like vibing, like the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian. Like there's always just been like a fun tag team. I think Pretty Deadly could fill that role, and if that's something that they're given a chance to do. Earlier, like last year, we saw like a brief kind of alliance with them and Tiffany Stratton, and she's someone else that could possibly be looking to turn a new leaf character-wise. So like maybe the three of them link up. They win the tag titles. She's the women's champion. They got a little stable going. I like the integration of like the men and women with stables, where like they kind of got their own things going on, but like they also just like show that they're friends. It's possible to be friends, men and women. You know, there's show more real life stories on screen. But Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time, and we enter week 1 of Tiffany Stratton being our women's world champion. And the first thing that happens when she's having her interview with Byron Saxton is she cuts a promo where she's a little uncomfortable, it seemed. Yeah. Like maybe a little nervous. She didn't stumble or fumble through any of her lines. It's just at times her delivery was just like not as sure as it would seem. Mm-hmm. And
I could see that.
For someone who's just like already so gifted in ring and like whose presentation, like the way that she carries herself, she looks and feels like a star. Mm-hmm. Her work on the microphone, while it's improving and she has like a pretty good like grasp on her character, I feel like it's better utilized in like backstage segments, almost like Roman Reigns to an extent, where he works better in those scripted backstage environments where he gets to like showcase himself as an actor, as opposed to like someone like CM Punk who give them a live mic and they can go out and just like control the crowd, cut a promo. So. But, I mean, Tiffy needs a manager, in my opinion. And I would love, you were saying, to see her as a Paul Heyman girl.
I would love to see that.
Paul Heyman and Tiffany Stratton, I think, could be
a great duo.
A hell of a duo. This brings us to the women's four-way. How did you feel about that match tonight?
Okay, during this match is when I really thought like somebody was gonna return, and I felt like I was waiting for that the whole time. It's okay that nobody returned tonight. I'll get over it when it happens eventually. But yeah, I mean, everybody wants that title. We almost got to see Bianca versus Naomi, but that was kind of interrupted. I think it has to happen eventually. If not now, then when Jade returns, or maybe Jade will turn on Bianca. Something is going to happen there that I think needs to happen just for growth for Bianca, for Jade, for Naomi, so they can move on and have their own, titles.
The girls are fighting, you know what I mean, mate?
The girls are fighting.
Yeah, I'm really happy that Bayley won. Shout out Bayley, as I said on our women's ranking video, which will be coming out after this one. She is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I think due to the legacy that she has and like all the prestige that she has already, her being the first person that Tiffany defends against will either work in her favor, where Tiffany can like play up her heel character by getting a dirty win, or if she does win over Bayley clean, not only is it something that doesn't hurt Bayley because Bayley's already cemented as like a legend, but also it really gives Tiffany a rub and enhances her. Like it adds prestige to her title reign already, having Bayley as like the first person she beat. So I think that was a really good decision to go that way. I was a little bit upset that Naomi and Bianca were used in a number one contenders match as opposed to a match to further build a tag division. Since giving them the women's tag team championships does like add prestige to them because they're main eventers, right? But also they should be using that main event prestige to like work with some of the women in the tag division and like give a rub to like, let's say, the meta girls that have come up from NXT and like fought for tag contendership. The Witches, Alba and Isla, they have a number one contenders match coming up on NXT. And I guess until that happens, Jade and, Naomi and Bianca are just in no man's land. Mm-hmm. But I want to see a focus be put on the tag division while they hold those titles. And if that's not going to happen, then let them drop it to a proper tag team so they can like fully go after the world titles. Like, let's say neither of them were holding tag championships. I think that it was a lot more believable that either of them would have won that match tonight.
Right.
Like, them already having those titles just kind of sets up it looks like they're about to feud with Nia and Candice while Tiffany feuds with Bayley situation. And it seems like outside of those 6 women, like, no one else is really sniffing the main event scene right now. So maybe that's where one of those returns happens. We see that Bayley's match with Tiffany is next week. I think we see Jade or Charlotte or someone.
I hope so. I really hope so. And yeah, I think that's what would make it a little bit more convincing to me. Because I just, I don't know. I personally wasn't too sure about the Bayley versus Tiffy match, so I can definitely see something like a return happening to interrupt it. And I really hope that is what happens. Me
too. They hyped up some stuff that's happening next week. We see Bayley versus Tiffany. Motor City Machine Guns are going to fight Los Garza, and then the return of Solo. I think that it is a testament to Solo's recent work, as well as just like the whole 2024 commitment from all parties to like effectively make him a main eventer, that seeing the big Solo returns graphic next week actually got me excited. I'm just like, oh shit, Solo's back. Like, ooh, I'm going to tune in. I can't wait to see what the former Tribal Chief has to say and where he goes from this, and if he's going to acknowledge Roman, what's going to happen with his bloodline. Does he go into a feud with Jacob and Thomas instead of just acting on their own without him? Did he send them this week? Like, there's so many possibilities, and I think that that's just... They've effectively made Solo, I think, a main event presence. Yeah. He proved that he belonged. Not everyone in the main event is going to be like a 5-star classic guy or a guy that is just like killing it on the mic week in, week out. But like there's sometimes just a need for bodies to be up there and work with the top guys and be the guy that you want to see like take the pen and send the crowd home happy. And Solo Sikoa has made himself that way, and I think that he's recently shown a side of himself that's kind of likable, whereas if he were to turn face, I think Solo as a face has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I can see that.
He seems like a likable guy. And
he's funny. Solo's a funny guy.
And when he like finally like lets that like shell down and starts like embracing being funny, like imagine Solo with his like same aura, his Samoan Spike going after someone like Grayson Waller, or going after someone like him versus Jacob Fatu seems like a match that would make me excited. I'm just like, okay, like that's a big tough matchup. Yeah. Seeing him fight like members of DIY, I'd be like, oh shit, Solo's big bad boy. He might come take y'all out. So yeah, shout out to Solo. But speaking of Solo, his family members, Jacob Fatu got to talk a lot tonight. Yeah. And I think the more they let him talk, the more that he's going to get over as like a really believable main event threat, because he just has such believability on the mic. Just like very menacing, very just like unfiltered type of delivery.
People already love Jacob Fatu anyway, just for his like in the ring performance. But yeah, seeing him talk more is definitely gonna get him over.
He's gonna scare people. He's so intimidating. He makes the faces. They let him rock the grills. He starts doing his little dance after his emotes. He breaks out to. I love when Jacob Fatu starts doing his little dance, because he just turned up and just like domed somebody, and then he just like starts shaking his dreads around. He's lit. He be turned, and like that's what wrestling is about. For somebody like me, I watch wrestling to see people get turned. On Monday, I see his cousin Jey Uso get the whole crowd lit. I tune in on Friday, and I see him just start wiggling around, jiggling around, and it makes me happy. It made my night. So seeing him and Tama Tonga team up, I don't know if this is like true Like, this could be like some fact I made up in my head, but I think it could be a wrestling fun fact. So if you know the truth, double check me and let us know in the comments. But I think Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga's dads were tag partners in the 80s. So it's cool that they were like cool. Tagging together.
Yeah.
If that is the case. Versus Cody and Big Jim. Again, I think Jimmy is like showing a lot as a main eventer. He feels believable. He feels like he belongs there. And I think that keeping him separate from Jay before they inevitably, God, I can't talk tonight, reunite, I think it's going to like really let Jimmy have a chance to show that he can do well on his own as well. Jay is not like the only one that has talent in that group, and I think that there's a lot that Jimmy can bring to the table. And like we were saying, like a potential feud with Carmelo Hayes, even seeing him like have feuds with someone like Theory or like someone else in the mid-card. I'd love to see Jimmy versus Shinsuke. Maybe Jimmy wins the U.S. title. Like, that would be really fun for me.
Yeah.
But Kevin Owens shows back up. Cody's like, it's on site. I don't care about this match. I'll leave Jimmy to get beat up. Let me go fight Kevin Owens. I don't even remember. This episode was so boring. I don't remember who won. Didn't Jacob Fatu win?
Well, yeah, because Jimmy was alone.
He was by himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got jumped. They packed up Big Jim. And then Cody comes back, still fighting Kevin, and like spears him off of a barricade or something into a table.
Oh, onto
a
a table.
Laid there. And the entire time, I was thinking that we were gonna see Drew McIntyre make an appearance, and I feel like the subtle but like not subtle little relationship brewing between Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens, is going to start to affect Cody in the coming weeks. I can see Drew McIntyre probably being Cody's like challenger at like Elimination Chamber, like a stopgap between whatever happens with Cody between now and WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think it was a cool episode of Smackdown tonight. Nothing that was as exciting as earlier this week on the Netflix premiere. It seemed like they put a whole lot of effort and energy into making that a big spectacle, and they're just kind of running out of steam here. But still, it's an exciting week for WWE with all the big changes that have happened on Raw, on NXT, and still another exciting show tonight. We saw a couple title matches, some defenses, and looking forward to next week's episode. Seems like they got a lot planned. So, yeah. If you guys enjoyed tonight's episode, leave a comment below. Let us know what you liked best, and let us know what you hated best too. And yeah, Casey, you want to leave us with anything?
No.
Thanks everyone. We're Goody Graps, and we'll see you again soon.